This is DMG, and beginning the 2017, we're about to get back to our regular scheduled broadcasts. In a moment, I have healed my injury, which has left me videoless for a few months, and we're getting straight back into it. I am just wanting to showcase this from Hobgoblin3D. Now, they have sent me some 3D prints of their STL files that they are selling at the moment. Links to their products are in the description below, and we're going to show off all the little bits and pieces. Now, first of all, I thought I'd talk a little bit about 3D printing. I have two 3D printers, left one and a right one, and I have no mechanical physical 3D printers. The birds are chirping. Somebody set the cat on those damn birds. So I don't actually have a 3D printer to print them out, so they have sent me some of these just to have a look. Now, obviously, you're buying the STL files, so you know, I'm not going to talk about the quality of the prints because that depends on your 3D printer. I will talk about the concepts of what they've sent to me and what they have in their lineup and do a little bit of what I think. I'm just going to go through all the little bits and pieces that they have sent me. This is a throne on top of a plinth. Quite a nice large piece. I don't know much about what's going on up here, but obviously this is a piece of something that has broken off, so it is, you know, there's little bits and pieces on the ground here, so there was more to it and it has broken. There's cracks and things like that here. It's printed that way, and then the throne actually comes off and there's a little keyhole thing for that to plug back on. So they may have other options that can go on here that are printable separate parts. You'd have to check it out and have a look. So in terms of design, I like this in terms of, you know, it will suit most of the stuff that we've produced on this channel and most of the other things you'll find in like a Dwarven Forge and whatever, with the tiles and the, you know, little broken pieces and the skulls, and so thematically it'll fit with most. The only thing that put me off here was this little thing on the side. I understand structurally why it's there, but visually, yeah, that's the only problem I have with this piece. If I were to suggest something, obviously with 3D printing, when you have, you know, you're going to be printing a large area, some of this is hollow inside so that you're not using as much material. But what you may want to consider is having space available to put a battery, a CR2032 T-Light battery, and some conduits to run some cabling up to put some LEDs and things in here, so you can actually you know, light up the symbol or something like that. So have the conduits in the design available to that. So that's just an idea that people can throw around. I do like this piece. It's quite useful in terms of getting to the point in the quest where you're going to find the big bad guy or something like that. This is quite a nice little character piece for that. As part of a dungeon stable, you've got to have a table. So this is quite a nice little table. I like the fact that they've gone a little bit more intricate than just 4 legs and you know, and a top. The wood grain is nice on here. I like the fact that some of the pieces are sunken a little bit, so it's not just flat. I would have continued that a little bit in the design by maybe having a little bit of damage to one side or a corner or something like that to keep that sort of, you know, feel of age and whatever kind of, which is nice here with the wood imprint. I really like this table. That's quite useful, especially when you're able to put minis and things on it and use it in a game for different parts of combat, in terms of flipping it up, having a mini behind it for cover, or you have minis being able to jump on top of it and getting advantages for that. So that's quite nice. Little design techniques with the arch there. This is a very, very cool little piece that I like quite a lot. Of course, here now we have some bags of stuff. So it looks like it could be potatoes or turnips or something like that. Useful just for the usual dungeon clutter that you have lying around. So the great thing with some of these STLs is that they include the approximate times and all the settings and everything that you need for certain types of printers in order to print these out. So they include how much time it takes to actually put these out. These are the sort of things that interest me the most, because a lot of this sort of dungeon junk is great for just creating a little bit of atmosphere in the dungeon. So again, nice, you can create a little bit of cover and that sort of thing if you've got halflings in your group, or maybe you're playing some goblins or something. Short people can hide behind this sort of thing. Again, detail of print I'm not going to go into. It's more the concept of the design, and obviously with higher quality printing, you're going to get a higher quality product, which they're not supplying the printed thing, they're just supplying the actual files that you then print out yourselves. This is a great little pile of stuff. Again, we've got a satchel, a bowl with some stuff in it, looks like a bit of a mort and pestle, a couple of bags tied up, and I'm not too sure what that is, but it's very interesting nonetheless. Now, some of these things obviously I have created with beads and that sort of thing, but it's nice to see a little bit more detail, so you can actually see, straight away that this is a satchel or a bag, and little pots and things like that. So these are really nice. Again, little fillers that help to just flesh out your landscape or your dungeonscape. So here are more of a pile. Again, this is more treasury in nature. You've got some urns and some chalice and an ornate pot here on a pile of rubble. Oh, it could, yes, it's a pile of rubble. So again, makes the dungeon a lot more interesting. I like the idea that there's actually space inside the pot as well, so it's actually hollow. One of the benefits of 3D printing, obviously, is that you can create objects that are, things that you wouldn't actually be able to sculpt. It's very difficult to sculpt and mold and then pour these kind of objects without having it split apart and then gluing it together and all that kind of thing. This just comes straight out of the printer as is. Some things obviously you need to create different parts. Here we have a brazier. So it's a nice little brazier, sort of with little skulls and other indentations and things around it, with little logs and coals and that whatnot inside. So this is very, very nice for again, you come into a big room and you want to have the room lit. You can have several braziers standing around in that room. So having 5 or 6 of these in your collection of terrain, very, very cool. So that's a nice little design. I like that. It's not overly complicated and not overly ostentatious. They could probably have a variant without the skulls as well, so that it's not as evil, because you may want ones that are more generic, so they work in a good castle rather than in an evil castle, because you do tend to roam around those as well sometimes. Anyway, nice little piece. This is a great little item. This is a little pedestal, so you can actually place objects on top of you. Great for an objective. If you have like a magical sword or something, it can be hovering above here. Or if there's a jewel or a gem or a skull, a crystal skull or something like that, this is a nice little piece to having those sit on there. Now, what I like about this is there's a little bit of texture on the top, so it's not entirely smooth. So I like the little sort of difference. It's not just a straight up pole. There's quite a few little webbings going up underneath here. There's a bit of texture on the top. There's little skulls around the base, and there's some fluting and that sort of thing in the base as well. So nice attention to detail. It's not just a simple object. There is quite a bit of little artistry that goes into this, which has obviously gone a little bit beyond what we would do on this channel. But as a nice little artifact to have in the game, once painted up, these would look quite good. This is one of the things, as you know, that I hate to craft, and that's barrels. This one's nice and to scale, and you've got the nice banding and the wood texture and everything like that. The little plug on the top, and the little cork on the side where they would tap it as well. This is really great. Obviously you'd want some variants where there's an open top as well, and you could have probably a couple of broken ones too. If you printed this out yourself, opening the top would be basically just cut open the top, or broken ones would just, you know, break it down. But if you're designing something like this, I think about that open and what the interior, I don't know what the interior would look like in this in terms of texture, but you could concentrate on that and have different things inside just to have some variation for the barrels. But barrels, very interesting, always good to have in a game, and that's part of what I like about this collection. Is this is all stuff you would actually use all the time. So these are not things like, I've seen some things that you can get where people have gone over the top, and it's you'd use it once. It would take you like 5 hours to print the thing. You'd use it once, and then you'd never use it again. But this, you know, you are always going to use barrels, so this is fantastic. One of the cornerstone of any D&D campaign, you're going to have a chest. So what I like about this chest is the top actually opens up. There's actually things inside the chest. The only downside I would say, which is not really a downside, is just because of its size most likely, and the way that the printing works. It would have been nice if this was hinged. I'll show you another one that is hinged now, but this is still a very nice object to have. Every game is going to need a chest. I'd just be interested to know, because I haven't done any 3D printing. I don't own a 3D printer. I'm just wondering if anyone in the comments can tell me if you can print these with black plastic, and how well do they take paint. If so, it negates the need to undercoat these things in black. That would be something interesting if someone could tell. But there's nice little latches, little handles on the side that are printed on the edge. Great little wood texture, a little bit of difference on the top here. So again, a nice little object. Obviously some of the limitations with 3D printing, when the base here, there's no texture on the base. It would be nice if we could lie this on its side and see some texture on the base, but obviously there's a limitation sometimes with 3D printing where that may not be possible. I'm not sure. So maybe the guys from Hobgoblin3D can let us know if that is possible or not, because that would be something that I think would really knock it out the park, that one. So as I was talking about earlier with the chest, when I said it would be great if it was hinged, well, this one is hinged. This is quite an ornate large chest. It's got like eagle heads on each side. It's got little ring things on the edge. It's got a huge lock. It looks very much like the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders. Very cool. I'm sure that helps inspire. It's very big winged look about it here, with the heads on each side. The winged motif is continued at the top. A lot of great texture. There is some of this texture on the bottom here, so that's why I was wondering if it could be done with the chest, the other chest. As you can see, there's some of the 3D printed texture here. Yeah, so again, in the comment section, if you have any idea of whether that's possible and whether you can do it in black. And of course, inside you've got shields and swords and other bits and pieces of stuff inside the chest. Very cool as a reward for players once they've taken on the main event, the big dragon or whatever in the game, the big bad guy, and this is hinged. Now, I know that some 3D printed objects, they come out of the printer fully working like this. I don't know if this one has to be assembled. Again, they'd have to just mention in the comments. But it works really well. It clips closed really nicely. This is a really nice little object, and maybe we'll go through and paint up some of these and show them off in a later video. So lastly is this little coffin type cage that does pop open, so you can put little bits and pieces of stuff in there if you want. And 2 planks with the metal crosses. Again, a very interesting little piece. You would have these sort of things lying around. Great for if you've got some skeletons or whatever, they just pop out of this little coffin. Probably need to be a little bit bigger in scale, but I'm just nitpicking now. It doesn't really need to be that much bigger. I like the fact that it is open. You can put things inside if you wanted to. So this is most likely printed in 2 parts, and then you just apply some glue and glue it together. Again, the guys from Hobgoblin, I'm sure, will be able to answer any of your questions at hobgoblin3d.com, and their products are available through RPG Now. Check the links in the description below. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff coming out. Obviously this is of interest to some of you, maybe not all of you. Some of you obviously prefer to make it yourselves. But in any case, it is of interest to some of the community. You'll find things on the DMsCraft forums, people getting into 3D printing. So things like this are becoming more and more important. We should also think about the people who do the 3D designs of these things. They are a digital part of this community in that they are creating tiles and furniture and minis and all these kind of things, which are available to those of us who don't want to do those kind of things. They want to do one thing and they will 3D print another. So there is scope for this within the community, and that's why I thought I would show you these. Obviously they have also sent it to some of the other guys as well, and I'm sure they will put up a video to talk about their feelings, thoughts, and other things about these products. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to get notifications of the videos that are coming out in 2017, be sure to click on the bell next to the subscribe button, and you will get notifications of all the new crafting videos that are coming out very soon. Thank you for joining me, and like button! You thought I wasn't going to do it. Subscribe, share, comment, tell me what you think. Do it!